Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Crosslin again, and today's Reader's Workshop number 25. And today we're just going to review what we've noticed about series readers becoming experts on the author's craft. So I'm reviewing these things for you guys because these are our last couple lessons. So you had a lesson on Wednesday, and we were reviewing a series readers and how they find out about characters. And now we're going to think about the author's craft. And I want this to carry you through the rest of the summer because I want you all reading every single day. Nothing will have you as prepared for third grade is if you read every single day. How do we get better at something? We practice. So make sure that you're practicing your reading. So when we talk about series readers becoming experts on the author's craft, first, we're going to notice how the author helps you make vivid pictures in your mind. And you guys know this because I know a lot of you wrote those fairy tales with vivid pictures for us as readers. You use the author's precise words to understand the stories better. You think about the extraordinary language and you ask yourself, what does that really mean? You're going to predict how the story will go using what you know about other stories in the series. And you're going to use the author's punctuation and special print to bring the story to life and read it the way that the author wants the story to be read. And then finally, you're going to ask yourself, why did the author end the book this way? And what lesson am I supposed to learn? So today we're going to continue on with one of my favorite series books, the stories Julian tells. And we left off, we've read two stories now. The one about the pudding that I can never remember the name of, Pudding in the Night Sea. I don't know, you guys are probably correcting me right now. I'm going to look it up because I can't remember it. Pudding Like a Night on the Sea. The best title, and Miss Crossan can't remember it. And then we read about catalog cats, and that was a lot of fun. And if you guys will remember in catalog cats, Huey was thinking that those cats were going to come in the catalog because that's what Julian had told him. And then his dad went along with the fib so that Huey wouldn't be upset. So this is a lot of times. So the first story that we read in here, the Pudding Like a Night on the Sea, and then the second story, the Catalog Cats, those are different episodes in the stories Julian tells. So it's not chapters that relate to each other, but they're different episodes in the story. So we call those episodic. And now we're going to read another chapter that goes along with the other chapter of Catalog Cats. So this is a shorter one, and it's called Our Garden. So just based on the title and the pictures, look at the picture again. You really do you can figure out what this is about. Does anybody see the kitties, the cats that are in that illustration? So that may make you start thinking, wow, I wonder if the catalog cats are going to come back into this chapter as well. So I'm going to start out with Our Garden. We planted tomatoes, squash, onions, garlic, peas, pumpkins, and potatoes. Besides that, we planted two special things we saw in the catalog, which were, I'm going to show you, in this it says which were, and you see that little line, that's a hyphen. And that hyphen is means like we're waiting. It's not the end of the sentence, but it's dragging on so that he's going to tell you the rest of it. Which were genuine corn of the ancients. It grows 20 feet high. Harvest your corn with a ladder. Surprise your friends and neighbors. And make a house of flowers. Our beans grow 10 feet tall. Grow them around a string. Make a beautiful roof and walls out of their scarlet blossoms. Now, is that some great language that the author is using? And I want to show you something else that the author is doing. You can see this. This is all in italics. And whoops, there it is. Italicized print. And what that means is that is coming straight from the advertisement or the catalog where they ordered it. And they're kind of telling you they're making it different. The author makes it, Anne Cameron, she makes it different so that you understand. It's not just what the author's saying. That came from the catalog where they ordered it. It was an advertisement. Huey was the one who wanted the house of flowers the most. I wanted the giant corn. My father said he wasn't sure he wanted either giant corn or a flower house, and if we wanted them, we would have to take care of them all summer by pulling weeds. We said we would. We planted everything one Saturday. We worked all day long, getting the ground smooth and even and laying the little seeds down in rows. The whole time, I felt the catalog cats were there, swirling their tails in the air. Swirling their tails in the air. Does that give you an image of what's going on in the story? We finished just before the sun went down. My mother gave Huey and me baths. She said we were darker than the garden. She said we were dirty enough that she could grow plants on our hands and knees. Is that literary language we're hearing, friends? Do you really think that they could have grown plants on their hands and knees? Probably not, but we can imagine that they were extremely dirty. When we were clean, we had supper with chocolate pie for dessert and went to bed. Huey went to sleep right away, but I didn't. I put my jacket on over my pajamas and went out the back door to the garden. In the dark, it looked as if the garden was sleeping. I lay down on the grass. It was cold and a little wet. It looked as if the garden was sleeping. That's extraordinary language. And what do you think that the author's trying to tell us about the garden? Does it give you an image in your mind? And can you imagine that it's very cold, very quiet, nothing going on? I looked up. I thought all the catalog cats were sitting on the roof of the garage, staring at me. Over the top of the garage was the moon, a little moon with sharp horns. There were birds rustling in the dark branches of the trees. The seeds were dreaming, I thought. I put my mouth next to the ground and I spoke to the seeds very softly. Grow, and you corn seeds, grow as high as the house. Let me show you the picture that the author gave us for that. And she brings her words to life. There are the cats looking at him from the garage. There's the moon with the horns on it. And there he is, little Julian, lying down on the grass and talking to the seeds. In just 1 week, the seeds did start to grow, and we watered them and weeded them. By the end of the summer, we had vegetables from the garden every night. And the corn did grow as high as the house, although there wasn't very much of it, and it was almost too tough to eat. The best thing of all was Huey's house made of flowers. After a while, the flowers dropped their petals and turned into beans, and we ate the beans for supper. So, what Huey made was probably the first house anyone ever played in and then ate. Catalog cats are strange, but a house you eat for dinner is stranger yet. And that's the end of that chapter. And what I want us to think about after that is, what do we know about our character Julian? How is he different from the first story where he got into trouble with Huey? And then the second story that we read about the catalog cats, where he made a big fib to his brother. And then the third story, at the end of that third story, he was telling us about the corn that he wanted and the flowers that Huey wanted. And he was really happy for Huey that Huey's flowers were the best thing in the garden, that they grew so well, even though his corn didn't grow well. So think about what we learned about Julian. Do we like him as a character? Do we think that he's kind? Because remember when he was lying to his brother, we thought maybe he wasn't so kind. But I think maybe at the heart of him, he probably is. So I want you guys, when you're reading, to really start thinking, really think about the characters that you're reading about. It'll help your understanding of the stories. And think about all the things that you've learned in reading series books and what the author's craft is and how that helps you, and all the things that you know about developing the characters and understanding who the characters are. And so I just want to encourage you guys to read, 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 read. And today for Reader's Workshop, instead of reading for 20 minutes, we're going to do the FAST test for ELA. So each of your teachers should have put a link Friday, and you guys are going to do the FAST ELA. So if you don't read today, that's okay. But if you do read today, in addition to the FAST test, that's okay too. So remember, the more we read, the more we practice, the better we get at it. Okay, guys, have a great day, a great weekend. We've got 2 more days left of school after today. You're doing a fantastic job. I'm so proud of all of you.